Hi, welcome everyone. Today we're talking to Nabeeha Ayaz from Todd's Welfare Society. She's based in Pakistan, and I came across the organization because a few days ago they found a donkey named Elvis. Sadly, when I approached her for this interview, the donkey was still alive. It passed away yesterday, but Nabeeha is going to tell us something more about the donkey, how they found him.
All right. So, hi everyone. My name is Nabeeha. So basically, we came across the donkey when our shelter team was going to. We have an animal shelter here in Pakistan. We found this donkey when we were going to go dump our shelter waste, and he was lying next to that filthy dumpster area. And he was lying limp, but he was breathing. And although we don't have space for donkeys at the shelter, the condition that Elvis was in, we decided that we couldn't leave him there. So we sent our team over there and we had him picked up and we brought him to the shelter. Then we got an equine expert to drop by the shelter to assess him and examine him and to give him anything that he needed. So the condition that we found him was really terrifying.
Yeah, he's
He had wounds.
yeah.
Yeah, he had wounds all over his body. He had cataracts in both his eyes, and the side that he landed on, we think that he was thrown off a loader, a big vehicle where the owners when they decided to dump him, they used that. So he wasn't even thrown off in a gentle manner. He was just thrown off, like discarded like trash. So he had wounds all over his body on one side, and we do think that he sustained internal injuries. So his condition was really bad when we found him.
And yeah, so what did you? So you found him on Saturday, I think, or on Friday?
We found him on. It's been 3 days now, so it was a Sunday.
Sunday. And then a doctor came to see him, and he tried, because we have some footage also. Like he tried eating, like he tried feeding him, and he did try to like to
Yeah,
live.
it was really strange because the condition that normally when you see an animal in this condition, you don't think it's going to survive. You don't think it even has the willpower to fight whatever's going on inside his body.
Yeah,
But we feel like the fact that he was surrounded by so many people trying to telling him that it was okay, that he was in a safer place now, that sort of made him want to fight. That sort of made him want to give it a try. So even when he was lying limp in that condition, he was trying to eat. That was so surprising because normally when you see an animal in that condition, they cannot even eat because obviously they don't have that strength. But he was
yeah,
eating in that condition, and surprisingly, we were really shocked, but he was able to sit after a few hours from when we got him.
yeah,
So the medical aid that we got him, the first aid that we got him, the drops that we got him, and all the injections that we got him, they sort of helped him, get some of his strength back. So he was sitting after a few hours from when we got him, and we could tell looking at his face that he was trying. It, it was sad.
and can you, because you estimated he was about 9 years old, right?
Yeah.
And can you tell something? Because donkeys, like you said already, that his life was like a life of working, and then basically when they had no use for him anymore, they probably just threw him off the truck near trash. But can you tell something about life of donkeys in Pakistan?
So donkeys are a huge source of income for people over here. They're used to transport construction material, transport people from one place to another. They're tied to carts, and that's how they help in transportation of material. They're usually used for mainly just for transportation of material. So and that's how by transporting this material, that's how they're able to provide for the family that owns the donkey. So that's like many years of service.
Mm-hmm.
Yet when the animal falls sick, it's treated like a disposable item. It's not treated like a thing. It's not treated like a living, breathing thing.
And that's a so that like this one donkey we saw, but this is it's a common thing. Like when the donkey is of no use anymore,
It's
it's
a common thing. It's actually a common thing because we have tried rescuing donkeys in the past. We collaborated with an organization, but it didn't work out well for the donkeys.
mm-hmm.
So we decided that we do this. We'll build a donkey sanctuary in the future and help
Yeah.
donkeys out when when we're a little more confident. But point being that during that time we got a lot of requests for donkeys, and strangely so, all the donkeys were found near trash sites. So that tells
Okay.
you a lot. Okay, that the donkeys, the moment that the owner thinks that the donkey is not going to survive, they're like, we can't do anything for him. Let's just leave him next to the dumpster. He's just going to die there, and that's that.
That's it. Do you have any numbers about how many donkeys are used as transportation? Do you know about in the country?
I'm not sure about the exact numbers, but I think, but we have donkeys are a very common source of income.
Yeah, it's used as a vehicle. It's used to carry things, construction thing.
Yeah.
It's the common thing to do that. And to like, is it like how would you make people aware that maybe okay you use it as a vehicle, but yeah, it's basically a thing. What you're saying, it's being used as a thing. It's not a
Yeah,
living,
not
breathing.
not a living breathing thing. Yeah, they're not
Yeah,
looking at an animal as a living breathing thing. They're looking at it as a disposable item that you get your work done from it, but that's it. If it can't work for you anymore, you just discard it. You don't really care for it. You don't give consideration for the fact that he has provided you for so long, that he has been with you for so long, that he has basically helped you earn a livelihood, help you feed your families.
yeah,
That's something that's completely not taken into consideration.
at all. Why do you
Yeah.
think that is?
I don't. I think it's a lot because of how people generally view animals.
Yeah,
It's this thing that I mean, we have many other problems over here as well. One of them is dog culling. I Do you know about that?
yeah, I've heard about it in Pakistan, but tell us, yeah, about the dog calling.
Okay, so dog culling is basically the societies over here. When they see dogs around, they decide to kill them by shooting them. And it's
Yeah,
a mass killing, and a lot of dogs are shot down that way, and it's very common. Like, we don't really have any laws in place, and the government is not supportive. So imagine if people are looking at dogs like that, like something that's dangerous. It's just misconceptions. It's all these things that are embedded in the society, that dogs can harm you. Although if you just pet a dog, and if you just talk to it softly, it's just going to come near you. It's never going to try and harm you. That's something
no,
we don't understand over here. And they're looked at as pests. They're looked at something that's bad, that needs to be removed. Even a dog that's just lying over there sleeping. So many dogs are killed when they're just sleeping. That's so heartbreaking.
are you?
So
Oh wow.
heartbreaking. And
And
yeah.
and so tell me something about because your organization helps dogs and cats, and you helped Elvis this donkey because you saw him, and you of course
Yeah.
like if you were an animal lover, if you see an animal in need, you're going to try and help it. But how like your own organization, when did it start, and what do you do?
So basically, it was started in 2016.
Hmm.
It was started because the dog was shot down. And that dog was still alive uh, when it was reported to us. She had gone blind in her eyes, and the vets had thought that she wouldn't be able to live a normal life, and she wouldn't even be able to adapt. That's what we've noticed in our experience as well. When an animal goes blind from being able to see and to going blind, they go really, really depressed and
Yeah,
sad. So they don't really adapt. So we named that dog Joy. That's when Todd's Welfare Society came into being. It was started the very next day, and it was started from the focus of TNVR, Trap, Neuter, Vaccinate, and Release. So
yeah,
we want to try and tell the government and the societies that you can control the dog population in a humane way. Killing them is not going to control their numbers. Killing them is not going to solve this thing that you look at as a problem. It's not going to solve it. They need to be spayed. They need to be neutered. And they need to be vaccinated.
yeah,
It's also because of the problem of rabies. We think that every single dog is rabid. That's not true. But that's how we think. If
yeah,
a healthy dog that's saying nothing to you, it's just probably has rabies. That's how people over here think. So that was one of the main goals of TWS. And I mean, we don't really have proper societies over here, organizations over here that work for animal rights. But with recent awareness, a lot of people have been joining, a lot of people have been raising their voice, a lot of people have been starting something for them as well. So we
hmm,
started with this goal of helping all the injured and abused and neglected animals. So all the animals that come under our care are either animals that were hurt in some way, animals that were hit by some car and left to die, or animals that were even shot because of dog culling, and basically such stuff. Injured cases that we take on injured cases, we treat
Yeah.
them, we rehabilitate them, and then we try for their adoption.
Okay, so you trap and neuter. That what you're saying in every country, right? Like in every country, the neutering is so important, especially if you
Yeah.
have a lot of stray animals. The killing is not going to do anything. Um, but you're a younger generation. I think the things you describe, like the older generation, because we've done interviews in so many countries where it's always the same story. Actually, like they see dogs or cats not as companion animals or other animals. Even they just see them as things. And
Yeah.
but you see, a younger generation is becoming more aware. Like they have to have the same. Well, basically, they're like us, right? They have a
Yeah,
right.
we're really trying to tell people, we're trying to change mindsets now. We've started going to schools as well because that's where you can actually make an impact, right? So
Yeah,
we've started telling people, started telling everyone around us, everyone that follows us, that animals are not disposable.
yeah,
Animals are family, and you have to treat them like that. You can't, even if it falls sick, you cannot just abandon it then, which was
exactly.
the case for Elvis as well. The moment he fell sick, they decided to discard him. Although they could have gotten him help, they could have tried, asking around, because there are a lot of sources that would be willing to help now
Mm-hmm.
with this recent rise in animal awareness, animal rights, and all that. But people are not willing to try. People are not willing to give that chance, that shot, that just a little bit of love. And even if that animal falls sick, it can recover, it can heal, it can get back to normal. But we don't really think that way over here.
Do you think Elvis made a difference in this though? Because I saw the story was shared a lot. Also, like internationally, it was shared a lot. But do you think this story could make a difference that people might change their mind? Did you have some responses like that?
um a few such responses, but it's difficult to say at this point because our followers are not
Oh, you're gone. I'm gonna have your colleague added to the stream. Hey, Romana.
Hey, hi, how are you?
Hi. You're also in the same organization, but you were kind of, because the connection, just explain at home. The connection is we're talking to Pakistan, and Romana is based in England. The connection was bad before, so we had Romana as a backup. But
Okay.
because like on social media, the story was really shared of Elvis.
Yeah.
And what were the responses you've gotten for him?
Okay. Because Nabeeha would deal with the Pakistan side of things, I deal with the outside of Pakistan. We had a really, really great response. But saying that, outside Pakistan, you get a lot of animal lovers anyway.
Yeah.
So people really felt for Elvis, and they sent us lots of, nice messages, and we received donations and everything. But I'm not sure about the Pakistan side. I think the Bia could answer that better. But saying that, it's to raise awareness also that this is what's happening in Pakistan, and that if internationally, could you help us so that we could better the lives of donkeys and, as Nabia mentioned, dogs as well. So to raise an awareness, and Elvis, I think, has spread our reach much more as well because we got a lot more following.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it wasn't the ending we wanted to be, but if it means saving more lives in his honor, then I think, Elvis has done his bit before passing away.
Yeah, and you're gonna have, because there's gonna, I think Nabeeha is back also. Are you there? Yeah. Yes, I'm gonna have the three of you like this, but you're gonna have you're gonna organize something for Elvis, right?
Yeah, we decided to hold our next donkey camp in his name, so that we can honor him and his life.
And what is a donkey camp?
So basically, donkey camp is where we treat donkeys of donkey owners. They're not that well off, so we hold these medical camps for free, and we
Mm-hmm.
hold them in areas where we know that there are a lot of donkey owners. There's either usually areas near villages, and we inform them a few days in advance. We make announcements so that everybody knows that we're coming. So if they have sick donkeys, they can bring them over, and if they have if they have any issues, basically. And this is also a way for, because these people are not generally well off. They're poor people. They can't really afford treatment. They can't really afford to care for them, or provide for them when they fall sick. So they're really helpful in that regard. So that's what we've decided to do. That we want to hold our next donkey camp in his name. an onerous type.
And I had one more question about the dog calling you mentioned. Do you have numbers of that? Because you do more with dogs. Do you know how many dogs get called in
So
Pakistan?
basically, every year the numbers around 50,000, and that's the reported cases. Some of them aren't even accounted for. So that's a huge number. And imagine this number happening every single year.
50,000 dogs get shot
2,000, yeah.
in Pakistan, and there's no law for that. Like, is it? Because I know in India it's illegal to shoot a dog, but in Pakistan is neighboring country, but there's no law for that.
No, there's no there. I mean, there are laws against animal abuse, but dog culling, no such thing like that yet. There are a lot of animal rights advocates that have been taking this case to court, and there has been some success. Like in Islamabad, that's the capital city of Pakistan. We've had the animal rights advocates were able to get the court to say that dog culling will need to stop and we need to implement TNR instead. But that's just for one city yet. All other cities it's still happening. Even today, actually, we got a call that they shot down around 20-30 dogs and that they needed help to rescue the remaining 20 dogs over there. So our team went to rescue those dogs and to take them to a safer area away from people. I mean, they don't even think much about the life that they're killing, and they just kill them in such huge numbers, and then they too are discarded like trash. Their bodies are picked in such a terrible manner. There's no respect for that being, no respect at all.
And do you get Romana, your colleague was just saying, like, there's international response, but 50,000 dogs shot a year. Is there not some, like, internationally, like some pressure or something? Because that's a huge number to be killed.
There has been some international pressure. We attended a conference. I think it was organized by World Health Organization. I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but there is some pressure. But again, the authorities over here are so laid back. They wouldn't care less. So unless some sort of funding provided by these people stops, they keep continuing. They keep carrying on. They have no regard for dogs. They really don't care if they live, they die. They just want them removed. And it's so strange. We are in the middle of a pandemic situation, right?
Yeah.
We have in our country, lockdown was imposed in April. So anything that was not an essential activity could not be carried out. And can you imagine dog culling was an essential activity? They considered this an essential activity. They considered killing of dogs in the middle of a pandemic as an essential activity, and they carried that out. And that's why it's still going on, and it's terrible. It's really, really terrible.
And it's not police officers. It's just civilians killing. Like, anybody can just kill a dog.
It's authorities. It's proper authorities.
It's proper that shoot them.
Yeah.
So it's wow. So it's really government instructed, like government instructed, and police officers can just shoot dogs whenever
Yeah,
they're
like if you take this up to the government, they're not going to say anything. They're not going to want to help out. They're going to maybe listen to you. They're maybe going to stop for a while. They're maybe going to say, okay, fine, they care about the animals. They're going to stop for a few months, and when TNR, it takes some time to organize for TNR projects, right?
Yeah.
So even if somebody is organizing something, it's basically happened with us very recently. We were organizing a TNR project in a society, and then this pandemic situation happened, so we had to put that on halt. But even though they knew that we were in the middle of a pandemic situation and that we can't really carry this project out right now because we need a lot of people on board, they decided to break off any sort of understanding that we had with the society, and that society went out and they killed dogs over there because they weren't patient, they couldn't wait, they couldn't care less, and they were like, we're just going back on our word and we're going to kill all these dogs again. And funny thing is, this society knows, they know that dog culling is not the solution. They know that the dogs are going to come back in that society again. So it's not a problem that can be resolved by killing the dogs, but just for the sake of removing those dogs from there, and then funny thing is that there's a lot of society pressure. So if the society heads are even understanding, the people of that society, because of how the people over here think that dogs are not dogs are dangerous, dogs need to be killed, and they need to be removed, or they're going to harm us, or going to harm our kids, and all that stuff. Even so, they start pressurizing the society. They keep complaining that remove this dog, remove the dogs, remove the dogs. And then even if the society is not keen on killing the dogs, because of all the pressure from the society individuals, they end up shooting those dogs. So it's like back to square one, really.
And just for my understanding, so basically, if there's in a space a lot of stray dogs, they just round up the dogs, put them somewhere, and just shoot them.
They don't put them somewhere. If a dog is running, they're just going to shoot it from there. They don't try to make it less painful. They don't care what happens. They're going to let a dog bleed to death if for all they care. I mean, we've had to deal with such cases in the past. Of course, I mean, people know that we deal with injured animals, so they get in touch with us when there are such cases. And it's so heartbreaking that even if you control the bleeding of the dog, even if the dog is trying to hang on, when we get the x-rays done, the damage is so severe. There are pellets all over the dog's body. You cannot do anything. You cannot do anything to surgically remove those pellets. I mean, even if you don't euthanize that dog, in a few days' time, it's the organs of the dogs are going to start shutting down because of the internal damage. So it's so heartbreaking that that dog survived the shooting, but that dog can't live on. It has to be euthanized, otherwise it's just going to suffer, and its suffering is going to be prolonged.
How do you as a person yourself, like, how do you deal with knowing all this? Like, I'm listening to you and I'm in shock of what you're telling me, but how do you and your colleagues deal with this on a daily basis?
We were just thinking about this yesterday when Elvis passed away, because it was really sad, because we knew a lot of people were rooting for him. We knew a lot of people wanted him to make it. We knew that he was trying. That was the biggest thing. We knew that he was trying, and he wanted to get better. So, but when he passed away, we felt a bit defeated. We felt
Of
really,
course.
really, really heartbroken.
Of course.
But there are so many animals like Elvis. There are so many animals in Pakistan that still need help, that you can't ignore, that need help. And we have success stories at the end of the day. And I think when we feel weak, when we feel heartbroken over deaths, we remind ourselves of those success stories, and we remind ourselves of how we need to honor that particular death, how we need to honor that particular rescue, and how we need to keep going on for so many others like that particular rescues. So that's why we keep doing what we're doing, even though sometimes it feels like a dead end, because we're rehabilitating dogs that are injured. We're rehabilitating cats. We also rescue kites at times. But we're rehabilitating all these animals, and we have to release them back sometimes. We have all these dog-friendly areas marked. We check up on these dogs. But with dogs, since they're scavengers by nature, they do move away from those areas, right? They're not going to
Yeah.
stay over there when we release them. But
Yeah.
there's always this fear at the back of our minds that, we vaccinated that dog, we spayed neutered that dog, he's completely fine, he's completely healthy, he's friendly. But what if they get him? What if they end up getting him? It's it's
Yeah.
it's not it's not something that leaves our mind. But we've tried outlining these areas around the shelter. So what we've started doing now is we've started educating people around. We
Yeah.
started telling them, this dog is tagged, which means this dog is vaccinated for rabies. You don't need to be scared of him. He's also spayed and neutered, so they're not going to reproduce. They're very friendly. They have spent some time with humans. They're not going to harm you. They're not a danger to you at all.
Yeah.
So people from that area specifically have been told and informed and have been educated in this regard. So they are paying attention in that area specifically. But then again, that's just a small area. You can't speak for
Yeah.
all the cities or all the areas in Pakistan, because they're huge.
But it's great, like what you're doing slowly is you're creating awareness, and I think like more people want to maybe join as volunteers, and then so slowly you'll hopefully it spreads out, right? Like that's how any movement starts. You start.
Yeah, we're hoping. I mean, as I mentioned before, a lot of people have started doing their own thing, and there's
Yeah.
something that we say all the time, that if we can't do it, take some step yourself as well. Because if
Yeah.
somebody else, maybe we might not be able to help you, but we're willing to guide you through and through. We're
Yeah.
willing to help you sponsor treatment, but sometimes you might not have space. Sometimes you might have some other restriction, maybe a viral outbreak which restricts us, which doesn't help us to help that animal at that moment. We're willing to provide for that animal for you, but just help us out a bit, and together we can help that animal. So lately we've been trying to tell people that rescuing is a community effort. You know, five, six people might be doing something, but it needs the community's backing if it is to be successful and if it is to have long-term success. So I think it's going to take some time, but things are changing, and we're hoping, you know, we can do better for more animals.
And if people want to help you, what is it? Because you want to open a donkey sanctuary, you already said. But so what you need mostly, I think, is funding, right?
It's funding, yeah, because we need to have a larger land for that. So we haven't started a fundraiser for it yet, but it will probably be in the works soon. And with that fundraiser, we're going to try. I mean, the current shelter that we have, it's all because of donations. It's all because of the support from people. It's all because of we haven't had any backing from any society or any organization. It's literally just individual donations and support. So we've been able to do a lot from donations, and people have been very understanding and very supportive through and through. So yeah, we're probably going to start a fundraiser for that and move to that too in the future.
So thank you. I'm gonna tag you on Facebook, so if people want to support you, they can, and they can just go to your Facebook page and find information there. Find information there. I want to thank you for your time and explaining this to us, and also thank you so much for everything you tried doing for Elvis. And I'm so sorry that he didn't make it, but hopefully some good can come out of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.